If somebody asks me for 1,000 Robux, I have to say yes. If they ask me for 10,000 Robux, I have to say yes. If they ask me for 100,000 Robux, I have to say yes. If they ask me for 1 million Robux, I actually don't know what I'd do in this situation. I'd probably have to delete my channel or something. Welcome back to Please Donate, but I have to say yes to everything. So, we're gonna do this challenge in 3 phases. For phase 1, I will be on one of my alt accounts that is just a bacon for 1 hour, and I will say yes to everybody who begs me. For phase 2, I will use one of my wealthier alt accounts and say yes to every beggar for 30 minutes. And finally, for phase 3, I will be on this account, my main account, and I will be saying yes to every beggar for 10 minutes. Now, 10 minutes might not seem like much, but since I'm somebody in Please Donate who's known to have a lot of Robux, it can get pretty insane. Alright, as soon as I press this button, phase 1 begins. Alright guys, the timer has begun. Let's see how much we get begged as a bacon. And if you're wondering how I can afford to do this challenge on my alt accounts, basically all of the Robux I use in both phase 1 and phase 2 came from Robux I have in the Liquate group, which by the way are all thanks to those of you who buy the Liquate merch. And if somehow the begging gets so crazy that I run out of Robux, I have more group funds that I can distribute when needed. Alright, the good thing is I see a lot of people moving around and stuff. I feel like any moment now, somebody could be begging us. For the first couple minutes of this challenge, I walked around the map a little bit, hoping that somebody would come up to me and ask for some Robux, but unsurprisingly, things didn't get interesting quite yet. As you probably already know, anyone who sees a bacon pretty much just assumes that they're a complete noob, which of course makes bacons a lot less likely to get begged. But since I wanted to make sure that phase 1 was as entertaining as possible, I have a secret weapon that will definitely make phase 1 more interesting. But before I felt like it was time to reveal the secret weapon, I had a couple of other ideas to try first. I did not want to waste any time, so only about 2 minutes into the challenge, I spotted a fellow bacon in my server and gave him a little bit of Robux in hopes that it would attract some beggars. But unfortunately, as I watched in confusion and sadness, as people just walked by me like I didn't even exist, hello? Am I invisible? I realized that someone outdid me. Bro just donated 1,000 and then a 300? How dare someone else donate, and please donate. And after that, there was only one thing on my mind. War. I wasn't just gonna let this guy steal all the attention. I have a video to make and people to entertain, so to bring the attention my direction, I decided it was about time I live up to my name and show him what bacon power is all about. I quickly found a stand to donate to, and then I gave him 5 Robux. I mean, what'd you expect? My name's Bacon Power, not Hasm Power. Even though the donation was small, it actually managed to attract the first beggar of the video. And I'm not gonna lie, it was a little hard to tell what he was saying.
Are you able to donate 1 more Robux?
I think he just asked for Robux, it was hard to tell. So I followed him to his booth anyway and donated him 10 Robux. And funny story, I didn't even realize until now when I'm editing this video that this was the same booth that I just donated 5 Robux to. After that donation, several minutes passed and the server was feeling a little bit dead. I'm not gonna lie guys, this server is looking kind of dead. And if you saw my last Say Yes to Everything video, you'd know that at the end of every 10 minutes, if the server seems dead, I switch servers to try to keep things interesting. However, we still had about 3 minutes left in this server, so I wasn't ready to move on just yet. I walked up to this booth right here, donated 4 Robux, and in the very last 3 minutes of this server, nothing happened. So, I guess it's time for the next server. I noticed right away that there were quite a few wealthy people, and if this were my 0 to 10k series, I'd be pretty happy about that. The only problem though is since they're rich, they're probably even less likely to beg a bacon, and the next 8 minutes seemed to prove my point. Even after donating someone 10 Robux to get some attention, I spent this time just walking around without anyone bothering me at all, which, by the way, is something I really miss on my main account, where I get begged pretty much the moment I spawn in the server. Anyway, with only about 2 minutes left in the second server, I met this guy right here. As he approached me, I assumed he was gonna ask me for some Robux. Wait, what is this guy doing? Is he about to ask for something? He then said something in voice chat, but I couldn't understand what he was saying, so I asked him to type it instead.
It's fine.
It's fine? Wait, what do you mean it's fine? What's fine? I was obviously quite confused, but one thing I was sure of was that any second now he would ask me for some Robux, so I stood there anxiously waiting, and then he finally asked me,
How's it going?
Oh. Pretty good, my man. How about you?
It's fine.
Am I making a friend right now? Glad you're doing good, man. Glad you're fine, man.
Yes, it's better.
Yo, guys, I think I just made a friend. What the heck? He ended up leaving without asking for a single Robux, and in a game like Please Donate, where most are there just for Robux and material things, it was really nice to meet someone like him who has literally nothing to his name that simply just wanted to make a friend. Because of that interaction, I arrived a little late to the third server, so to try to make up for the lost time, I decided to step it up a bit and start off with a 20 Robux donation. I waited for some beggars to arrive. However, the unfortunate truth is... Wait a second. Why is this tree looking at me like that? Oh my gosh. Did the donation actually work? Okay, as I was saying, since every time I was donating, nobody seemed to care, I was getting really tempted to use the secret weapon, but first, I had an idea. A risky idea. With about only 4 minutes left in the server, I walked over in this direction to find a place to hide, and then I typed something in the chat so bold that I might as well have just asked everyone in the server if they want free Robux. And after that, I was pretty much donating one person after another for all of the rest of the time on the clock. Is what I wish I could tell you, but no. Somehow that didn't seem to work either. Bro, which made me seriously start to question reality. How can I be sure this is Please Donate? But then, while I was literally seconds away from switching servers, this girl came up to me and finally...
Would you like to donate?
She actually asked. Yes, yes, yes! I've never been so happy to donate in my life. Here you go. Heck, take a 5 too. Here, you know what? Don't just take the 5 and the 10, take the 3 too. I'm feeling generous today. After that, I actually did draw a bit of a crowd, but this crowd wasn't how I expected them to be.
You're so kind. Yes, that's why I love bacons.
They were super nice people, and I was happy to have met them, but I was starting to run low on time, so in the next server, I felt like it only made sense to finally use the secret weapon. So, I guess it's finally time to reveal what I've been hiding from you this entire video. Okay, I know what you might be thinking. Is this a joke? This is seriously what you've been hyping up this whole time? Well, believe it or not, this actually makes Phase 1 so much crazier. Everybody on Roblox knows that if you have one of these Valkyries, you've got some Robux. And if you look really closely, it literally says right here, I have this. There's no way I don't get begged now. I went up to this booth right here, donated 30 Robux. Turns out, it was a fellow bacon girl, and for some reason, she thought my donation was funny.
LOL.
After that, I went over to this group and simply said hi, but they just ignored me, so then I walked away. Not much later, one of them came back and said, "Can you donate me?" Of course, bro. So I gave him 20 Robux. His hippo friend right here then noticed my shirt.
I saw the vouch, so you have to give me a Robux right now.
So I gave him 20 as well, and then I saw the most vile outfit I've seen in all of my time on Roblox, and a bit later, this guy wanted some Robux too. His only button was 100 Robux, so I had to buy it. Next I met this guy, and apparently I'm just in time for his birthday, so to celebrate, I gave him 25 Robux, and after that, we were in the final server of Phase 1. There was only 9 minutes left, but since I wanted to end Phase 1 with a bang, I had a couple more tricks up my sleeve. I started right away with a pretty risky idea. Yo, what's up guys, how you doing? Using voice chat was scary because if anyone recognizes my voice, they might know that they could ask me for anything. But after a couple minutes of randomly talking to people, it didn't seem to be doing anything. But then I found this bacon who was literally named Bacons Are So Cool. So of course, I had to give him some Robux. A couple more minutes passed and somehow it was still dry. So I used my technique from earlier.
I have Robux.
And finally, this big guy right here asked me for a donation, and little did I know, this guy's smallest button on his booth happened to be the biggest donation of Phase 1. And somehow, I wasn't begged again for all of the rest of the time on the clock. Even though I knew that Phase 2 would obviously be crazier than Phase 1, I honestly had no idea what I was getting myself into. If you look at my avatar for this phase, I guess the recipe for this craziness is honestly pretty obvious. The first thing you might notice is the gigantic wings that are sure to make the stomachs rumble of any onlooker with a hunger for Robux. And once they're done staring at those gigantic wings, they're sure to notice the Festive Valkyrie, Pinstripe Fedora, Golden Flash Shades, and Purple Beast Mode, which are all items that, in the eyes of beggars, simply just look like Robux. And if you thought that was crazy, I have not just one, but two secret weapons ready to use for Phase 2. Boom, the 30-minute timer has begun, and I'm not gonna lie guys, I'm a little scared. I already know this is probably gonna be way different and way crazier than Phase 1. Pretty much right after starting the timer, I noticed two things, oh my gosh, that seemed to repeat themselves throughout Phase 2. The first thing actually made me pretty happy. Oh my gosh, everybody here could pretty much use some Robux. Maybe not this Roblox developer guy, but everybody else. And honestly, it did make me a bit scared too. Oh my gosh, this is probably gonna be crazy. And it wasn't until here that I noticed the second thing. Phase 1 we started with a 5, this time we start with a 10. Hello? Hello? Okay, took you long enough. Click! Oh, finally. So it seemed like Roblox was having some lag issues, but honestly, I figured it wasn't a big deal. Well, at least for now. It wasn't even 2 minutes in when I realized that Phase 2 was about to get crazy. This is when I found myself surrounded by my very first crowd, and right away, this person said,
"Donate to me."
And right after that, this person also said,
"Donate to me."
And we weren't done there yet either, because then this guy also said,
Hashtag, 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 hashtag.
Poor guy. He probably wanted some Robux. Oh well. After giving the first person 10 Robux, it seemed like the crowd was growing even bigger. What did I just join? I gave the next in line 10 Robux as well, and after that, Mr. Hashtags actually bypassed the filter, so I followed him to his booth, and the lag was starting to bother me. Bro, why am I lagging like this? Once I got to his booth though, I realized he only had 14 Robux raised, so I gave him 100, and I think it's safe to say that he was excited about it.
Hello game making. I like your outfit, and I like your name.
Aw, that's so nice. Did I just meet a really nice person?
Then you so cute.
I don't need your Riz, just take the Robux.
Nah, can you make 100?
People like this are exactly why I only say yes once per person. Soon, I was approached by multiple beggars, and as I donated them, it got me thinking. With how crazy this was already going, I was starting to really wonder if my idea for 2 secret weapons was overkill. I mean, both of these are much more powerful than Phase 1's secret weapon, so it honestly did worry me just how insane this might get. A little bit later, it seemed like things were finally slowing down, which meant that I could finally relax.
Donate to me.
Never mind. We were almost out of time for this server, so I gave her a little extra, and after that, it was time for the second server where I would be using Phase 2's first secret weapon. Before I was ready to unleash the madness of the secret weapons, I wanted to first see if anyone would beg me without using them. After about a minute though, nothing was happening, so I gave this random person 15 Robux, and after this, I was pretty confident that beggars would come. Alright, who's gonna ask first, bro? Look at this crowd of people. There's a lot of people here right now. Heck, looks like we already have one. Okay, well, maybe not them, but surely this guy. We were now already 3 minutes into the server, so I decided, nothing's happening, let's bring out the first secret weapon. And right as I said that, oh my gosh,
Hi.
he asked me to help complete his 100 Robux goal, and after I gave him the 100, it was time for the first secret weapon of phase 2. As soon as I click this button, the first secret weapon is revealed. So the first secret weapon in the last phase was a shirt that said, I have this, with a Valkyrie. Now take a look at this one. I told you it would be better than the last one, and this is just one of two. Now, I do have to tell you, this isn't a real Valkyrie. It's actually a UGC copy, which only exists because Roblox totally gave up on fighting against them. And unless the beggar is so picky that he actually checks, they're not gonna know the difference. To help make sure that people actually notice the Valkyrie, I decided to give this bacon 10 Robux, but then I realized all of these bacons right here, they are bots.
They are bots.
And this reminded me of something else that I should probably tell you. I've gotten so many comments of people saying that I scammed them on an alt. Even if you ever see a bot saying that they're me, they are not me, so do not trust them. Please stop falling for it. And to whoever's making those bots, I'm coming for you. Anyway, I ended up giving the Robux to a real person instead, and while I waited for the madness to fully begin, I noticed that the bots seemed to really be taking over. How many bots are in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think? 7, 8, 9, 10? That's almost half the server! What is going on? Which honestly was starting to make the server feel pretty dead. Oh my gosh, are there any real people left? Because of this, I took an even bigger risk and said, hello? Anybody want Robux? Why did I say that? 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 To my surprise, nobody seemed to even notice me, and to make matters worse, someone donated 1,500 Robux. Okay, bro, I got 2.5 minutes left in the server, and you go and donate somebody 1,500 Robux. This did bring life back into this bot-infested server, but all of the attention seemed to be going the wrong direction. Oh, okay. I still had some hope left though, so I gave this bacon 100 Robux so that hopefully people would come my way. Bring it on. And at first, it seemed like nothing changed, but then, oh my gosh, please say the magic words, Mr. Lonely. Please. Here, let me just say a hi, Mr. Lonely. Oh, bro. No wonder you're lonely. We were now already down to about 9 minutes, so as I clicked the button to join the very last server of phase 2, I plan to start right away with the last secret weapon. I'm not gonna lie, this feels like a dumb idea. It literally says in bold letters, I am Liquate. What was I thinking? Now, the reason this secret weapon is especially risky is because many people in Please Donate know about my Say Yes to Everything challenges, and if they find out that I'm Liquate, they may just take advantage of it, and who knows what they might ask for. This should be about as crazy as it's gonna get before phase 3, so let's see what happens. This time, I figured it would draw more attention if I started the server off with 2 different donations instead of 1, and I think I was right because just as I got right here to wait on the beggars,
Hello. Hi.
I was now waiting on 2 different people to ask me for Robux, and the time was ticking away. It took him about a minute before he finally said,
Can you donate me?
Yes, please. Since it's the last server, I gave him 100, and because I gave him 100, I gave the next person the same. After that, I met 2 other people.
Yo, hi, can I donate?
Since this guy asked faster, I followed him to his booth, and he didn't have 100, so I gave him 80. I then donated the slower guy too, and I was kind of surprised because it seemed like nobody was noticing my shirt, but I guess that's what happens when I take 2 months to make a flippin' video. We were now in the very last 3 minutes of phase 2, and it seemed like things weren't gonna slow down anytime soon.
Please donate.
I gave him 100 Robux as well, and after that, this guy from earlier asked for a second donation, so it felt really good to be able to say, no, you only get one. I'm a one-wish genie, okay? The next beggar right here didn't have any buttons bigger than 30, so I bought their 30, their 20, and their 15, and it seemed like the closer we got to the end of our time, the crowd was only growing bigger. This guy was the next person to ask for Robux, so I gave him 100, and even after all of these 100 Robux donos, this person only asked for 2, and since I'm only allowed to say yes, I had to buy their 2.
Thank you so much.
Dude, is this person really this grateful for only 2 Robux? Because of this, I gave her another donation, but this donation was actually the biggest donation of this entire video so far. This person was the next to ask, and right after I gave her the 100, there was an even bigger crowd filled with tons of people desperate to get some Robux. So naturally, I said, no to you, no to you, no to you, and you, and you, and you, and especially you. But of course, I only said that because we were out of time. If someone came up to me and told me that I have to describe phase 3 in only one word, it would have to be chaos. Now, the start of phase 3 was actually pretty peaceful. Could I just stand here and nobody noticed me? But of course, this is phase 3 after all, so it didn't take long before I was noticed.
Could you donate me?
Yes, I can. Oh my gosh, it even says partner in chat, bro. Everybody's gonna see that. Oh, no. After I gave him 100, I met this guy.
You donate to me, please.
He didn't have 100 buttons, so I did the logical thing and gave him double. This guy was the next in line, and even though things were already getting crazy, he had only about 300 Robux raised, so I did something that made things even crazier. Whatever, just take my money, man. I don't need it anymore. And it's funny I should say that because after that, I was already being swarmed by a bunch of people hungry for my Robux. This guy was the first to ask, and do people not realize that you can run and please donate? Faster, man, run! Anyway, his biggest button was 100 Robux, so I just went with that. Next was this large rabbit-looking thing, and for whatever reason, I decided to make my life even more miserable. Why did I do that? I don't know. I don't know why I did that. Next up was my favorite species to ever exist, a Roblox bacon.
Could you be my first donator?
And this is where things started to get a little strange. As you can tell by my face here, I was a little suspicious. My mind was racing as I was trying to figure out why this bacon, a complete noob to Roblox, had his smallest button set to this much Robux. I didn't have any time to investigate though, so I just let it go and gave him the 4,000 Robux. It was no surprise that after that, I would continue to be swarmed, but what was a surprise to me was that someone noticed me. Oh no, somebody said sub to Liquate. Oh no, that guy might know what I'm doing right now. I mean, I love my fans and all, but how the heck are you joining me when I have my joins off? Oh well, I'm sure it's nothing. I donated the next guy 200 Robux, and after that, I noticed I had even more fans in the server. I guess they're just getting lucky. I had a more pressing matter to attend anyway, because it seemed like these crowds were starting to seriously get out of control.
Liquate, please. Can't believe this is real.
Who's next?
1 second. I just need a quick breather. Yeah, this is nice. This is really, really nice.
I wish donate me. Sad face, sad face, sad face, sad face, sad face.
Anyway, I was pretty sure that Jazz here was the first one in this crowd, so me and the entire server followed him to his booth as I bought his biggest button, which was 100 Robux. I gave the next guy 100 Robux too. Oh, and nice sign by the way, buddy. We were already down to only 3 minutes left, so I quickly chose someone.
How about me?
Okay, whoever you are, I got you. But unfortunately, I think I chose wrong, because this girl amplified my suspicions even further. Just like the bacon from earlier, her smallest button was way bigger than normal, and somehow she had over 160,000 Robux raised. Weird. Oh well, I have no choice in the matter. The next guy had only 44 Robux raised, so I decided to give him 1,000. I then followed this guy whom I believed was the next in line. Wait a second, I recognize that name. And I most certainly recognize that button. Did this guy seriously just change his outfit to try to get more Robux? Are you kidding me? Even though there were definitely some very strange things going on, my attention was quickly diverted because, with only less than 1 minute left on the clock, someone decided to rudely interrupt Phase 3. Hasm dropped a 1 million Robux smite, and since the smite effect is so freaking loud, I had to pause the timer. While I was waiting on Hasm to chill out, more people were starting to gather around me, which honestly made me a bit anxious because I wasn't even sure how I was supposed to choose who I would donate first after the pause. A little bit later, the smite effects finally cleared, and I had an idea. I really wanted Phase 3 to end on a high note, and we had almost no time left, so I thought, I'll just start the timer again with the first person who asks for 1,000 Robux or more. To make sure that everyone was paying attention, I walked to a new spot, and then I typed this in the chat. I figured that this was subtle enough to not get everyone to ask for anything too crazy, but it should also hopefully get us started again soon. However, I was only right about one of those things. Did someone really just... Bro. Dude, there's no way. Like, I'm not even making this up, bro.